India, debate on 70-hour work week.
Uh-oh.
Is it illegal or road to greatness? CNBC. They're worried if this is illegal. Don't you just love the fact that CNBC is so deeply concerned about
India? What?
Page 9. Infosys founder Narayana Murthy's controversial statement suggesting that young people should work 70 hours a week to boost India's economy has sparked debate. While some industry leaders agree that such long hours may be necessary for India to compete globally, there's also strong opposition with concerns about mental health and work-life balance. India's current average work week is approximately 47.7 hours, already higher than other countries like the U.S. and U.K. and Germany, and industry leaders argue that the greater effort are needed for India to compete with global economic giants, making sacrifices like extended work hours essential. The debate has also highlighted the generational and cultural differences in perspectives on work. Tom, I got so much to say about this, but I'll go to you guys first.
Let me tell you, beware the man that wants to outwork, out-improve you. And
I agree.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think that they're inside the business of India, and I'm talking about the equivalent of their MBA schools and their CEOs and their national pride, if you don't think they don't look northeast to China and they want to kick their butt as a labor source, as an innovation source, you're not paying attention. And beware the man that wants to outwork you. And that's what India wants to do. They want to outwork people. And what they're basically saying here is that, you know what, we're going to really have a debate on this point. And they're not letting liberal politicians go, no, wait, what about a 30-hour week and 4 days in the office and 1 day from home? And these are industrious people. And I have a great deal of respect for them. You take a look at the great men and women that have come out of IIT and are a part of U.S. companies. And IIT over there is equivalent or even better than our MIT. And so I think this is a dedicated group of people. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to go up against them. You know, if I'm China, I don't want to go up against them. And what they're talking about here is just the core of the engine that causes people to pass you.
And Pat, did they make that move recently where the iPhones are there's more being made in India than there are in China now?
Yeah, now you're starting to get iPhones being made in India than China, which is great.
Well, they're stepping up their work hours and they're busting. And Pat, and if you're young, work your ass off.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit if it's
they're stepping up in Apple's also.
I got to tell you, there's probably a lot of people in India who are working. They're being like, hold on, what?
What are you saying?
Working right now 42 hours and I had to go 70? So it all depends on who you are and who you want to be. If you're an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur or a salesperson, if you're actually working on commission or you own the business, dude, 70 hours, no brainer. I've been there. I've done that. I'm sure you've worked 100-hour weeks, okay? But if you're working the typical 9-to-5 worker, and they're about to tell you that you're going from 47 hours a week to 70, alarm bells are going off in your head. Again, it depends on who you are and who you want to be. By the way, here are the 5 countries with the longest work weeks. Number 1 at the top of the list is the UAE, 52 hours a week. Then you have Gambia at 50 hours, Bhutan at 50, Lesotho, never heard of this country, 49.8, and the Congo at 48.6. Then you have countries at the bottom of the list as far as 9-to-5 type work weeks. I haven't heard of half of these countries. Vanuatu, 24 hours a week. Kiribati, 27 hours a week. Mozambique, 28 hours a week. Rwanda, 28. Austria, 29. So there's precedent here is all that I'm freaking saying. And all right, you found that, Ralph. Thank you, buddy. So if India wants to go from 47 to 50 and surpass UAE at 52, 53, go for it, guys. You have the largest population in the world.
Yep.
But to go from 53 to 57 to 58 to 60 to mandated 70, if you don't have that entrepreneurial spirit or try to build a business or a salesperson, which I was, which I understand, and you're just a 9-to-5 type employee, that could be very shocking.
It's a whole different element we're not talking about. Let me tell you what it is. Okay, so what is a secret sauce for parents to make sure their kids don't do drugs growing up? What do you do?
Expose them to the wrongs of doing drugs.
Show them people that have failed.
What do you do? What's the basic thing to do what? It's a very simple phrase we've all heard before. You want to make sure your kids don't get involved in stupid things. Keep your kids what? Keep them busy, right? Do things, which is what? Sports, activities, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, no problem. If you want to lower crime in your city, what do you do with your population?
Give them jobs. Make
Keep
them work.
them busy.
Yeah.
Positive distraction. I would much rather have my city, my guys working at a younger age in their 20s than doing anything else. If guys are working 70 hours a week, guess what? They're probably like, dude, man, I'm going to be passing out on Friday. I'm good, but I party Saturday. So I get these guys to party from 1 night a week to 2 times. When I was running a sales team, let me tell you what I used to do on January 1st. You ready? When I was ask anybody that worked with me, they're going to tell you, Pat would freaking do this every day.
Can I guess what you did?
Go for it and
okay,
guess.
I'm guessing.
Go ahead. January
that
1st.
On January 1st, you had a 9 a.m. meeting.
8 a.m. Not
Fuck
9 a.m.
me.
is late.
8 a.m. on the day after.
On January 1st.
8 a.m.
I don't care if
Pat, that is abuse.
Go ahead and say it. It's
By
sales.
the way, I would have been there at 8 a.m.
I know you would have been.
I just wouldn't have slept.
But here's
Straight
the thing.
up.
You know what happened? So guess what happened when I started running meetings on January 1st, 8 a.m.? You know what happened? Our DUIs went down. Why?
How many DUIs?
People know not to
Wait
drink.
a minute. What happens is, have you been in sales before? What do salespeople do?
Drink
and
around.
drive.
Yeah.
That's what they do. What do you want to do after work? Let's go have a drink. Are you kidding me? I lower DUIs.
Yeah.
So that's a net positive to society. I mean, if I get people to party, what happens if you get a city to party one fewer night the other night?
Less
if you get
people dying in the
less
streets.
DUIs, less problems.
hospitals.
A lot of bars are going to go out of
Everything.
business.
I'm not in that
No.
business though. But if you think about the behavior, is a better behavior. So yes, I don't mind doing 70 hours. And by the way, U.S. CNBC, that journalist from Columbia or Yale or Cornell or whatever school you went to, okay, that told you it's just not good, and you're the work-from-home gang community, right? You guys all go on these work-from-home chats and talk to each other while you're watching Netflix and chill and whatever freaking show you're watching. Guess what India's doing? Laughing at you. Flat out laughing at your face. They're saying, what a freaking American. I'm in the Shah's documentary stuff I'm listening to right now. You know what's one of the things he called America and the West? He said the American people take one too many sleeping pills.
Wow.
And they need to wake up. The American people take one too many sleeping pills. This is a guy that when he became the king of Iran, the literacy rate in Iran was 1%. Only 1% of Iran could read. You know what he did 10, 20 years later? He took it from 1 to 50%.
Wow.
How do you do that? High standards, high expectations, getting people to work, getting people to be smarter. So India, I hope you don't listen to none of these clowns who are these journalists at 23 years old writing an article like this bashing you. I hope you whoop some ass.
Yes.
I hope India stays focused and you dominate every one of these clowns that knocks you guys working 70 hours a week. And one day when you wake up in your 30s, 40s, you're like, listen, now if I want to work 70, I'll do it because I chose to. But at least in the years where you make the biggest, dumbest mistakes, 20s, you got away with making fewer mistakes because you were working your butt off building a company. Tom.
I agree with you 100%. You know, at my house, I'm known as being a little intense at the holidays because I start to get bored between Christmas and New Year's, and because I don't turn off my brain. And Kim and I have had this tradition: we sit down, we plan, we do our taxes on New Year's Eve. Believe it or not. New Year's Eve, we go over to people's house, but the day New Year's Eve, you know what? We're planning to do our taxes. New Year's Day, we get up and we make the plan for the year. Where are we going? What are we doing? We confirm, vacations, stuff like that. And when you keep yourself occupied, good things happen. Very good things happen. And I think good things are about to happen for India. And I do not think it's a bad practice to be more on top of your game and more intense and focus a little bit more. I mean, I teach my girls work ethic. I teach them strong work ethic. It's not how many hours you work, and it's until the objective is completed. I talk about them a lot. And right now, India's objective, they talk about this. What are they talking about? Long-term industrial competitiveness. Is compete with global economic giants. Those are the objectives they're putting on there. And somebody is looking at it and saying, if we want to do this, guys, this is the price.
I'll bet you any money, too, that the girl that wrote that article, she was writing it from home.
Actually,
100%.
you know what? I actually am curious to know. Rob, can you go look up who wrote the article?
And guys,
She's probably on the couch. She's probably on her
This
bed.
isn't like the government in India mandating this. This isn't even a proposal. This is one serious entrepreneur. His proposal, his idea, Naranya Murthy, he's the founder of Infosys. So I think it's just something that he put out there to see the test sort of the marketplace. I would love to see what the people of India have to say if you're going to go from 47 hours, what is it, to 70. What's the increase on that?
You know, Adam, come with me.
What,
Let's go to
35%.
Let's go to Hyderabad, India. Let's go to the tech center that supplies a lot of support to the U.S. companies, front-end engineers, back-end engineers, iOS, Android engineers, Ruby on Rails, Python guys. And you'll tell me they'll look at 70 hours and are like, where can I get that job?
Yeah.
They're busting ass right now.
Yeah, let them. I loved it when people would say to me, I would go to my friends and I would see them and they would say, Patrick, you're working too hard. Don't you think you're working too hard? You think it's healthy? You think it's this? I'm like, dude.
They're not worried about you, Pat. They were worried about themselves.
Exactly. They're worried about the fact that you're advancing and it's like, hey, do you think this is healthy? Do you think this? I'm like, dude, listen.
What's the breakdown, by the way? How many? Is it 6 days a week or 5 days a week? Because if it's 5 days a week, what is that, 14 hours a day? And if it's 6 days a week, what is that, 11, 12 hours a week? A day?
It's not a crazy number, by the way.
No, I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And guess what? It worked for you.
It worked for me, no doubt.
Yeah.
But if you're built that way, you know, if you tell a typical employee who's used to 9 to 5, by the way, you're now 9 to 9.
If you sell it, if you sell the benefits of it, if you sell the benefits, it's got to be the person's choice. You don't have, not everybody needs to do it. But if you sell the benefits of it, let me tell you, anybody you're in the hunt with in anything, whether it's military, whether it's business, whether it's, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're in the hunt with somebody, the level of bond you build with those people when you're in the hunt, for the rest of your life, when you guys look at each other, you have a smile on your face because you know what you guys paid, the price you paid together while you build whatever you built.
There's one X factor here. The wife who's always complaining that you're never home because you work too hard, now you're working even harder. I don't know. I think those wives are going to get kind of angry.
That's why you talk about it up front.
Yeah.
You ask what kind of a life you want to live, honey.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.